Hey everyone, it's Allison from Determined to Shine, where we use the magic formula of creativity, spiritual connection, and community to bring forth joy in our lives. I am so excited that you are here with me today because we are kicking off a new video series in which I'm going to be talking about how I use crystals. I've mentioned crystals a lot on my channel as part of my favorites videos and here and there, but I've had a lot of requests to talk more about crystals. A little bit about what they mean, but very specifically about how I use them, and especially in relation to using them as a reader of Oracle and Tarot cards, which I know so many of you also are, because that's why we're here so often, right? So we're going to kick things off today by talking about selenite, because I really believe if you're only going to have one stone, especially as a card reader, selenite might just be the way to go. It's inexpensive and it's excellent for clearing away the stuck energy on yourself, in your space, and yes, on your cards. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to talk about the different forms selenite comes in, how I use selenite as a card reader and in my daily life, and then I'm going to show you a whole bunch of selenite wands, well actually 3, that I've made recently and decorated and enhanced, and I'm having so much fun making creative selenite wands, and I know that you will too, so definitely stay through the end of the video so I can show you those wands, and I'm going to invite you to a special class where we can create them together. So much fun, because it combines all the things I love. Okay, here we go. Selenite. It is fantastic, right? It has the best energy. I bought, one of the first things I ever bought as a crystal was a selenite shaped heart, and I didn't even really know what selenite was yet. I was just exploring crystals, and I didn't really even know I was buying a crystal. I was just like, oh, this is pretty and feels good, and that's what selenite does. Most often you'll find it really affordably. You can find it in any crystal shop. They'll always have some. And usually it's in short sticks or flat pieces. And sometimes you'll find them in flat circles or flat squares, a lot of times with things engraved on them. But you'll also find selenite rods and wands. And what makes a rod and what makes a wand is what the ends are doing. So if the ends are straight, it's a rod. If the ends are pointed, it's a wand. Or if one end is pointed, it's a wand, okay? That's just getting technical. It doesn't actually matter. You can use a lot of these techniques with either. I just love wands because they're so much fun and they feel really magical to me and they're beautiful. And I just love beautiful things, and that's why we're here talking about crystals. So, selenite has a texture to it that looks a lot like this. This is a very large selenite wand. Most of the time you're going to find them anywhere from about 3 to 6 inches. I just went a little crazy, and when I saw this big one, and I had to have it for my table. So you can see that banding on here, or striations, that's very typical of most selenite that you'll find, especially if it's in raw form. If you find it polished, it will be more smooth. And most of the wands you buy with the pointed ends or one pointed end will be polished, just because that's kind of how it goes, right? So how do I use selenite and why do I love it? I love it because selenite clears out that gunky energy that kind of sticks to you at the end of the day. What do I mean by that? Have you ever, you get home from a day of work and you just feel kind of, right? You don't really want to do anything. You just kind of want to watch TV and you're tired and you feel a little heavier than you'd like to feel, because maybe you had a hard interaction with someone, or maybe you went to a room that didn't feel good, like those vibes we get, right? Selenite clears all of that, and it's amazing. And my favorite thing to do with a selenite rod or a selenite wand is to just clear my own self. I like to do this right in the morning. I like to do it right before I go to bed, and usually a couple times a day. And definitely any time that I'm reading cards, because as you know, if we turn to the Oracle or Tarot cards when we are tired or cranky or feeling something, that will impact our reading and can kind of skew the results a little bit. And we want to come to the cards and come to our spiritual practice really clear and grounded and ready to go. So how do you do this? Good news, it's super easy. It's as simple as taking the selenite stick, again, this one is huge, and sweeping it across your body, front and back. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And you want to be just within a couple inches of yourself. You don't even have to touch yourself with it. You can. But you're just sweeping out your aura. And even as I do this, I feel like all like, whoo, feels so good. Why I like a wand is because I feel like the pointed end adds some intention to it, and you can use it to direct energy, right? So here's one that some of you guys have seen before. It was in my last favorites video. It does have some fun stones on it, which I'm going to talk about at the end. But this is what you would see if you just bought a flat one before you put anything on it, other than this ribbon. Pretend that's not there. It's a selenite wand. It's a sword. That's not the sound a sword makes, but if you know what sound a sword makes, oh, it's like a metal clinking. Okay. Anyway, I digress, right? You can do the same thing. Just sweep through, cross your head. So like this feels so good to me. Like this feels better to me than the big selenite stick. And that's because this wand is infused with my intention, my love, and the added power of the extra gemstones, ribbon, and even aromatherapy in the satin that gives it that extra boost. Plus, I can use it to direct energy. Wahaha. This is me sending you love through my selenite wand. La la la. But this is also how I use it with the cards, right? So first thing I do when I sit down to read is clear. Especially if I'm reading for someone else, but especially if I'm reading for myself, right? Because I don't want the gunk of the day to get in the way. And I also just find it to be very calming. And I think anytime we can come to the cards with intention, that's really, really great. So how do I use this with the cards themselves, right? So I use it in two different ways because I really believe that cards store energy, right? Like any other thing that we use or spiritual tool or, you know, favorite old sweatshirt or whatever, right? There's reasons that certain items feel really good to us because they have all that built up energy. If they're full of love or if they were a gift from someone, that's beautiful. But if we use something a lot, it can accumulate, I don't know how to describe it really. It just gets like buildup, like on your scalp, right? No, like it just gets energetic buildup. And so you want to be able to clear your cards. And I find this especially important anytime I'm changing who I'm reading for or anytime someone else handles my cards. I am more than happy to let other people shuffle my decks, use them, pull cards for themselves. And if I'm reading for them, in fact, I like them to touch the deck and infuse their energy into it. But then of course I want to clear that out before I hand it to the next person, like if I'm reading for a bunch of people at once or before I bring them back to myself. So how do I do that? Simple. One touch. So once this deck is a deck that's in my collection, right, all I have to do is clear this. Sometimes I like to kind of hit it because then you are double clearing, because you may have heard of a technique for clearing your deck where you kind of knock the deck. A wonderful teacher of mine named Denise Lynn says that she knocks the deck because you're just like literally knocking out any stuck energy, right? So same thing, whap. But you don't want to break your wand, so a gentle touch is also fine and all you need. So that's like one way I use it before a reading. I also like to literally point energy into my deck, and I'm going to talk about when I do that. And when I do that is when a deck is new. So when I get a deck for the very first time, often after I've opened it and shown it to you guys, right? Ooh, that's a fun shine. Woo, magic. Okay, sorry. Oh, shiny. I got distracted. When I get a deck for the first time, there are a couple things I like to do to make it mine, right? So I often edge the deck in different colors if it has plain edges. I've shown you guys that before. But the other thing I like to do is do a more thorough energy clearing. And I also like to say a bit of a prayer before the deck and then infuse the deck with whatever energy I want it to have. So with these cards, I might hold the deck like this and close my eyes and just take some deep breaths after I've cleared myself, of course, and just invite my spiritual connection to be present, and then just say Like, I ask that these cards be full of love, be full of clarity, and be full of everything that is needed for my highest good and the good of the people that I'm reading for. So it can be that simple. It can be a little more specific, especially if I have a deck that I want to use for a really specific purpose. Like if I'm using a deck for studying and learning, I might put that in the dedication of the deck. Or if I'm using a deck for love readings or for other people, or this is Ethany's Modern Goddess Oracle. It's one of my favorites. So I ask that the goddesses be present with me as I read. And so that feels really beautiful to me, and I love setting that up. And of course, just like anything I teach, you can use this with any spiritual connection or none. But I love taking the wand and taking energy from my heart and putting it into my cards because it feels so nurturing and joyful and beautiful. And I can feel that every time I pick up the deck. And I love, love, love doing that. So that's like one of my deck rituals for reading cards. And I just really like to always have it present. And if I'm doing multiple readings, especially, I'm like, one of the things I do for people who are in my monthly program is every month I post a private video with a personalized card reading for each person. And so I really like to tap the deck between each person. Otherwise, I might start pulling the same cards over and over, or I might get just a little muddled because I'm reading for a whole bunch of people in, in rapid succession, that I want to make sure that I stay clear and that my deck stays clear between each reading. So it's a really great way to do that. So that is how I use the Selenite wand as a card reader specifically. And it's so great for so many other things too, because you can use it any way you'd use any wand, which is probably another video, but who doesn't love a magic wand, right? So now I want to talk about decorating your wands, right? Because it's a way to add some magic of your own to your wand, some intention and some purpose, and just like really make it a personal tool that can bring you joy over and over and over, especially over a period of time. So I created this wand earlier this year as my heart was hurting. Many of you know I've been through some stuff here in 2021. And so I placed 4 different kinds of crystals on the wand. And I started with an amethyst, right? Because amethyst is such a great stone for just healing and insight and clarity. It's the other one I say everyone should have. I'm always like, oh, if you only have one crystal, it's more like 3 or 4. Like selenite, amethyst, and rose quartz, everybody needs. From there, we'll talk about your personal situation. But so I put the amethyst on there just for general like guidance, clarity, etc. Then I used 3 stones together, and these were, the chipstones did come in a kit, as did the wand actually, and some of the ribbon from Sage Goddess. I just like to mention that, though you can source all of these things anywhere, and I'll be showing you way more things to use too, because I've gone a little crazy. So much fun. Okay, so I put the amethyst on, and then I put on moonstone, because moonstone is so good for new beginnings, and I was facing a new beginning. Like, my living space has changed, my relationship has changed, everything has changed, as Taylor Swift would say. So I just love moonstone for that, like, calming energy and reassurance that during change I will be okay. Then I added rhodochrosite for heart healing because I needed it, right? And it's such a nurturing, loving stone of heart healing. And then I covered the whole outside in pyrite dust for luck and abundance and joy, and my reminder that I love to shine. I always say I named my company, my channel, my everything. We're called Determined to Shine in this community because life is not always shiny. Life is murky sometimes. That's why you need some selenite. But that's why you need your spirit, right? Your spirit and your joy to show up even when it's hard. So this was my wand of new beginnings, and I created it in full moon ceremony, and I have used it almost every day since. And it has, is it corny to say it's changed me when it's just a stone or a group of stones? Maybe it is, but it has. And every time I pick it up, I'm reminded of those intentions, of the magic I placed in this wand for myself. And this sari ribbon holds fragrance, which is a thing I didn't know until recently. And so what's awesome about that is I used a anointing perfume or oil blend. You can use either. When I created and dedicated the wand, and then I put that, so I used it on myself, and then I used it and I put it in here. And so I can literally smell that day in this wand, and it's so special. So this was the first one I did. And then I decided, like, what if I made some more? And so I've been having a lot of fun just creating a whole bunch of these. So I'm going to show you 2 more just because I can. It's my channel. La la la. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I call my Earth Magic wand. But first I'm going to show you what it looked like before I worked on it. So it looks like this, only this is red. So you're like, hey, I thought selenite was white or clear. Well, it is, except when it's not. There is a form of orange selenite that is naturally occurring. So that's something different. But if you go anywhere online, especially to Etsy, you can find color aura. It'll be called like aura selenite, A-U-R-A. And what that is when certain metals are bonded to the selenite at really, really high temperatures in a lab. Don't try this at home. They can produce these awesome colors. So I decided to get a couple of these in different colors. So this is my red one, and I'm going to be decorating this in just a couple days in the class I'm teaching. And this was a plain green one, and I now call it my Earth Magic wand. And it has lots of awesome little dangles. So you can see I wrapped the heck out of this with some sari ribbons. And I've got a Tree of Life green aventurine charm on here. I've got this Good Luck Clover, a Good Luck Cat. This came with my copy of, I think, the Blooming Cat Tarot had it on the bag, so I just put it on here. So this is for whenever I just need a little dose of earthy magic, either in my own life or in my card reading practice. So guess what? Of course, this is going to be my Fire Magic wand. After creating this one, because this year I'm working a lot with earth energy and really working on grounding, I decided, of course, I'm going to need one for every element. So fire is next. So that one is really fun, and I love these spiral wands that you can find online. They're great. And the last one I want to show you is somewhere in the middle, right? So this was a double terminated wand. This is the back, okay? So that's what this one looks like. So you can get them with points on both ends, and they work a little bit differently energetically. It just has to do with how you point energy and which end it comes from, right? And this is the front of it, and I'm pretty in love with this one too, even though it's so simple. So it looks like this, and the ribbon on this one is loose, and that's intentional, so I apologize. So there we go, I can show it to you. Oh, my hand's a little shaky, my bad. So this one is for, of course, working with Ganesh, who is an amazing deity that appears as an elephant, and so I have a green agate elephant attached, and then I have these chip stones once again, just like on the other one, but instead of placing a whole bunch everywhere, I was really specific. So I added phosphoridite, and I added so I had 3 of those on each side, and a seraphonite on each side, and then a druzy quartz. And so these are all stones designed to like enhance our spiritual communication. And so this is kind of like my angelic wand of the of working with Ganesh, right? And I also just realized that it matches my hair and my outfit. So that's really funny because it has the green and the purple. What can I say? I'm consistent, right? So this one is, you know, it's pretty simple, right? Like it's not very complicated, but there's a lot of personal meaning and power in it for me. And so when I pick it up, I almost get a bit of a head rush because it's so great for tapping into that higher part of myself, or especially like when I'm working with Reiki, or when I want to do work with the angels, or obviously specifically with Ganesh in this case. So those are 3 of the wands that I have made that I love. And I want to invite you to make wands with me, or at least one, right? Why not try? So I'm really pumped. This Thursday, depending on when you're watching this, if you're watching this when this video is new, this Thursday I am teaching a live class where we're going to go through step by step. Like, I'm going to talk even more about how to use the wands, why I love them, how to make them magical for other parts of your life. Then we're going to all create them together, and then I'm going to show you how to create a dedication ceremony to like bless your wand and make it yours and send it into your life full of love, and we're going to have so much fun. Don't worry if you're watching this video later or if you're busy on Thursday, because I know it's short notice, but my classes are available to take as a recording, and you, I promise, will feel like you are right there with us. So no matter when you're watching this, all you need to do is check the links below and you can find out how to register for the class. It's going to be so much fun. It's super affordable, and because I just really want everyone to be able to attend. So that's my magic wand class for you. Information, again, look below. But either way, I hope that this was helpful. I hope you had fun. I hope you are inspired to get some selenite if you don't have some, or to think about ways that you can personalize your crystals and your crystal practice. I think that so often we think of crystals as something that exists in a certain way and we can't alter them or change them. And it's not really true at all. Like, there's so much crafty magic available in the world of crystals, and I'm so excited to be sharing that with you now and in the months to come. So, now you know what I'm going to say. If you liked this video, what do? Subscribe, hit the bell, like the video, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. I'd love to know which of the wands is your favorite, or what you think, or if you want to create a wand for any specific purpose in your life. And I'd also love to know what other crystals you'd like to learn about, or crystal practices you'd like to learn about, because I am super excited to keep bringing you so many things about the magic of crystals. So that's my pitch for the day, friends. I love you. I say that all the time, but you know, I love love. I'm not even kidding. Here's the thing. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to every one of you who have been watching the channel, commenting, and giving me a place to show up and share with you, because I love to be able to do that. It is an honor and privilege and the joy of my life to get to share and teach these tools that have brought me joy through some pretty murky stuff. Like, I just turned 40 and I already have multiple sclerosis. I've already been widowed. I shouldn't say already. Like, a lot of people don't go through those things at all, but I'm just saying, like, it's been a hard, bumpy road. And I love that I've been able to create something joyful out of that. And I love even more getting to share it with you. So this is my reminder that I like to give on every video, that you are right where you need to be. If you are in a dark place, please, please know the darkness is temporary. It always ends. There have been so many times in my life when I thought, you know, this is it. Like, I'm not going to make it through this one. And you know what? I did. And so can you. Because I don't know if you've realized this, but you have a 100% success rate at surviving all of your worst days. Because here you are, watching the video, hanging out with me. So you've done it. You can continue to do it. And let's make some selenite wands together just for funsies along the way. Okay? Have a wonderful day, evening, week, month, year, life. And I will see you soon.